Good evening, and finally, welcome to another Royal Reviewer live weekly chat. I finally made it 12 minutes late, and in fact, I was actually 5 minutes early. And just for those of you who haven't been in the chat room, if you're watching on catch up, there was a little bit of technical issues drama before I've just managed to come on. So basically, I was 5 minutes early, and I'm just about to press the start button on my chat because I wanted to surprise people being a little bit early, and a little message popped up, a restart message, which I think is part of Microsoft or whatever, and it said that the computer will restart in 15 minutes regardless of whether I click yes or no. In fact, there was no option to click no, not now or later. There was no option. It was just telling me it was going to restart in 15 minutes, which of course is no good because I will be live on chat in 15 minutes. So I had to press restart. And it took about 7 or 8 minutes to clonk through the 4 updates. And then when I finally managed to log in, it just clonked forever trying to bring back up all my pages that I'd already got pre-opened. So in a nutshell, that's why I'm late. But I'm here now. So thank you to everybody who has waited. I did put a few little messages in the chat while we were waiting. So I hope you all got those and found them entertaining. And I'm just going to go now and find the chat window to see who's here. Although I do kind of know who's here because I spoke to you guys a little bit earlier. So we have Candice, we have Sandy, we have Bay, we have H.A. Bracken, we have Oh Dear and Donna and Christine. I think I said Betsy. Who else have we got? Let's have a look. And Vinnie Blair and Linda. So thank you so much for everyone for coming. And of course, we've had another amazing royal week. In fact, I think I've done possibly my most videos in a whole week because there's been so much going on. Quite a few of you are commenting on my comments I put in the live chat, and they were very Hyacinth-esque, shall we say. In fact, that's probably what Hyacinth's responses would be to technical difficulties. Shall I go back and read some of them? Let's have a look. I can't see where they are. Oh yes, Hyacinth would say, well, I bet her across the road at number 23 doesn't have compulsory updates. That's because she has nothing worth updating. I think Hyacinth would possibly say that. And I definitely think she'd want to be calling Microsoft to speak to somebody far superior. And she would definitely not be fobbed up with any minor functionaries. But yes, yay, I'm back in action. And my computer was very, very rude. Hang on, I'm just going down to the bottom of all the chats. Okay, so the format is exactly the same as every other week. If you have a royal-related question or you just want to say hi, just find the chat window you can see and say hello. The rules are very, very simple, as it is for every week. Just be kind and considerate to one another. I believe in freedom of speech, so you can say whatever you like, even if it's negative or positive. But once you've made your point, move on. We don't want to have loads of negativity, and don't aim any at other members. And usually our moderator, Jamie, is here. He's probably a few minutes late. We'll pop on, and he's very, very good at sorting everybody out. Oh Dear is jumping straight in there and saying the wedding schedule has been released. Yes, we had further confirmed details, which is the word I like. I like confirmed details, not speculation, about the royal wedding. And one of those details was a confirmed carriage procession, which I think is going to be amazing. So I think it's a couple of miles, and it's around Windsor town, and it gives everyone, or everyone that's come, that's lined the streets, a really good chance to see the happy couple shortly after the ceremony. And the ceremony, of course, the details were that it's midday. And like I say, we know there's going to be a carriage procession straight after. We know there's going to be a dinner back at St George's Hall, and it is very unlikely that William will be attending the football as president of the Football Association. He will be spending his time with his family, which I think everyone said ages ago was probably the right option. So yes, we've had details confirmed, which is great, and I can't wait for the big day to see everything else that they've chosen for the big day, whether they have gone with the white theme that was reported, what Meghan's dress is going to look like. I think I'm just really getting excited about it now. Betsy says, I love the music you use for your videos. Thank you. I used a selection from an album, and I'm glad that you like it. Vinnie Bear says, congrats on getting the tartan for Meghan Markle last week. Yes, she wore tartan in Edinburgh. I said that I thought she would definitely wear a tartan scarf, but she went one better. She went better than the tartan scarf, and she wore a tartan coat, which I thought was really, really lovely, and I think it suited her very, very well. And again, she's looking more and more at ease and relaxed with each engagement. So I'm really pleased with the way that she's adapting to royal life, and I still think it's a journey that she will be continuing upon very much. What did you guys think of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry in Edinburgh? They visited Social Bite, which is a social program. They visited the Palace of Holyrood House, and they visited Edinburgh Castle, not in that order, I might say. And I made a series of videos, well, actually one video about all those different engagements. You can go back and refresh your memory if you want to. And if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's really good. And it gives you a real flavour and taste of their Edinburgh engagement. Tim says, hello, everyone from rainy Tennessee. Hello to everyone in rainy Tennessee. Linda says, is the carriage going to be open top? Well, I would imagine there will be a backup. I think it will be open top. It'll probably be an open top Landau carriage if it's not raining or the weather isn't bad. Now, hopefully, at that time of the year, the weather shouldn't be too bad, but there will probably be a contingency if it does rain or the weather is really bad. Now, the two contingencies could be a closed-top carriage, or it could be car. So let's hope if it is raining, we still get a carriage and it's a closed-top carriage. I don't really want to see the car option. I think we definitely want to see them in a carriage, but let's hope for nice weather and they can carry on in their open-top carriage. Tim says, so is William the best man? That was one detail that wasn't confirmed. And we know from a few weeks ago that William hadn't been asked. Whether he will be or not, we really don't know. Again, that's probably something we will have to wait and see on the day. Janice says, have I applied for the press pack? No, I haven't. I've been really naughty again. In fact, I have a free week this week. I have a lot more time. So I've just yesterday broken up for my half-term holiday, so I get a week off. So I'm going to have a lot more time to sort a lot of things out and make more videos as well. And one thing I really want to do this week is, those of you who probably don't know, but you might know by now, I am a huge Hyacinth Bouquet fan, and Keeping Up Appearances is one of my favorite programs of all time. And about 2 years ago, I wrote my own episode set in today's modern world. Basically, I was intrigued by the idea of what Hyacinth would be up to now, and in particular, how she would use, you know, the modern technologies like social media and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter to brag about all of her social exploits and how far superior she is. So I wrote a modern, up-to-date episode, very much in the style of the original Keeping Up Appearances episode. I even included a character that was in the very first episode, which was Kylie. In one of the first episodes, Hyacinth and Richard attended Kylie's christening, and she was filmed, and she wouldn't be seen filmed, emerging from a hippie caravanette. So I've included Kylie all grown up, living with Onslow and Daisy and Aunt Rose. So hopefully I'm going to make a video with me kind of voicing the episode. I wrote it in a script, maybe set to some photographs from the original series just to illustrate it. So if you want to see that, then please click on that video. I really hope to make it this week. Tim says, the tabloids are saying terrible things about Meghan. Don't they always? I saw more in the shops. Makes me sad. People act like that in 2018. People don't really say bad things about her in this country a lot. Obviously, we had that one lady from the UK that said nasty things about her. But in general, people don't really... There isn't really much bad press about Meghan, I must say. Okay, I'm going to have to try and say this word because I can just see it. Tim says, I am from Chattanooga. Is it Chattanooga? But live in Nashville now. And H.A. Bracken's from Alabama. Or is that Alabama? Alabama? I can't do the American voice. Tim says, I love Hyacinth too. I have the entire series on DVD and 2 of her books. I have the box set, of course, including all the Christmas specials. Bay says, I think people of the South love the royals. I'm glad about that. Tim says, drive slowly past number 23. I want her to see my hat. You know, I have done that before. Not about a hat, about a coat. Tim says, Richard, I would not have you making that sound in front of the neighbours. The Bouquet residence lady of the house speaking. Sheridan! Yes, I can do it. I know too many Hyacinth quotes. Betsy says, I hope Meghan is continuing her mode of not reading social media comments. I hope so too. But I really hope she watches my videos. Meghan, please watch mine. I'm kind. Diamond Danae says, sounds great about keeping up appearances. Looking forward to that video. Thanks. Yeah, so hopefully I will get a chance to make it because it's one of those things that takes quite a lot of time, and also to try and do the voices, which I'm not terribly good with the voices. Sandy says Southern ladies actually wear hats like in the UK, or wear hates like in the UK. Hates or hats? Tim says, poor Sheridan, I bet he had a time with his mother growing up, especially with that pearl button collection. Oh dear says, when you show us your spring bulbs in bloom, make sure you have a shirt, tie and cardigan on like Richard. Well, probably a good month or so before the spring bulbs are up over here. Christine says, are there a lot of wedding souvenirs available now? Yes, there are, but of the more tacky variety. If you look on Amazon, there are lots, mugs, tea towels, the lot, using kind of older photos. But if I were you, I would probably wait until the official ones are out. But if you can't wait, there are, you know, unofficial merchandise out there towards the more tacky side. But if you don't mind that, and you just want something of Meghan and Harry to have handy and available, then there are some out there. Do go and have a look. Amazon is probably your best bet. Sandy says it wasn't hates, it was hats. So you wear hats like in the UK. I mean, not a lot of people probably wear hats for everyday life. I imagine, you know, going to a nice posh function, people would wear a hat. And definitely to weddings, most definitely, but not in everyday life. Although I would like to see a comeback with hats, definitely. Tim says, how is the Queen and Prince Philip? Not heard much about them. Well, if you watch my last royal update video, and of course I've started doing these update videos just to give you a quick snapshot if you're in a hurry or you want a quick recap about what's been going on. And in particular, I feature little tiny stories that perhaps, you know, wouldn't make up a whole video. And in my last update video, my roundup video, there was the Queen doing investitures. So she has been out and about doing investitures, but this was at Windsor. So she did an investiture ceremony at Windsor. So go check out that video. Towards the end of it, there is one photograph of the Queen being the font of all honour. And as for Prince Philip, I haven't heard much about him too, so I can't say. But I bet probably, you know, silence is good news. I think we can take for that. Diamond Danae says, who would play Sheridan? Nobody. Sheridan is faceless and bodiless. Sheridan is just a name and a phone call. So yeah, so nobody. But Sheridan is in my new episode, but he's 45 now. He's 45 and still living with Tarquin. And they like Kylie Minogue. Vinnie Blair says, is the palace really giving her speech lessons, do you think? I can understand teaching her British lexicon, but her accent is what is unique about her. I would imagine she'd be getting some very, very, very basic, you know, protocol type lessons. But although the royal family is quite famous, or probably this may be a little unknown fact, but they don't really train each other. You know, there are some elements of training. For example, she would have had to have taken on a high, I can't think what the word is. It's like a driving test, which means that you're more advanced, an advanced driving test, which forms part of her protection. So in the need to, should she require to get away in a hurry and she's driving the car, she knows how to do it. So there are practical things that she will be taught. I would imagine she would be coached, for example, if she was going to attend a state banquet or a state dinner, so that she's using the correct knives and forks and doesn't feel uncomfortable herself. But in terms of speech, I don't really think she should be trying to change her speech, although if you live in a country for a long time, that can happen to your accent. Your accent can alter slightly. And I'd imagine she would be, you know, becoming well versed in the British lexicon and phrases so that she won't get tripped up. But I guess part of the fun for her is learning as she goes, which I think is what she will do. And I've always said that I thought she'll be a quick learner. James Med4 says, I love when Rose is naughty and the vicar and Hyacinth gets involved. I've given up life. I'm going to become a nun. Yes, I love Rose. Rose is a favourite character. Tim says, Elliot, this may not be true, but saw many people on Facebook say this could be Prince Philip's last appearance at Trooping the Colour, which I don't blame him when he's 96. I think Trooping the Colour is one of those things that he will carry on doing. I don't think it will be his last. There isn't anything to base that on, really, apart from age. And I think as long as he's fit enough to attend it, I think that will be one of those set occasions that he will continue to. And unless we hear otherwise, or there's a health problem, for example. Vinny Blair says, Windsor Castle shops have souvenirs of the couple. Whether they are tacky or not, I don't know. I haven't looked at the Windsor Castle one, so I will have to go and have a look. I hadn't heard about them yet, but I will be going to have a look. Hello to Jen, who's just said hello. Oh dear says, I am partial to a bobblehead set of Meghan and Harry to put out during the televised wedding news. I would like them too. In fact, I heard, what were they doing? Were they doing those pop bobbleheads of the royal family? But I don't think they're out yet. Or maybe they are, I don't know. Oh dear says, maybe there is something nice that you would want to keep in the Buckingham Palace online gift shop. Oh my goodness, I've just had an idea for a new video. And that is, maybe I could buy some of the tacky Amazon souvenirs and open them and show them. That would be quite good, wouldn't it? Candice says, personal question. Oh my goodness, shall I read it? Elliot, what size do you take in shirts? Any kind of shirts? Never mind why, just tell me. I am a large in a shirt. I don't know, don't ask me what that equates to in other countries' sizes. I have no idea. And don't ask me collar sizes. Again, I don't know. I just buy, for example, in the UK, there's XS for extra small, small, which is S, medium, M, large L, XL, extra large, XXXL, extra, extra large, and so on. And usually I buy L for large, if that helps. Loretta Hurd says, outside of the pitch at the palace, what is the Duke of York doing? He does have his own Twitter. So if you want to keep up with what he's doing, you can go on there and find out. I do also try and include him sometimes on the daily updates if there's something particularly worth covering. So if you want to see more Duke of York news, Prince Andrew news, then I would be delighted to show some on my roundup videos. Candice says, you look wonderful today, by the way. Thank you so much. Courtesy of Dawn for the lovely box bow that she made me. I know she's not able to make it tonight. She has a prior engagement. But thank you once again, Dawn, for the lovely box bow, which I am wearing with Queen Elizabeth's flower brooch, the flower basket brooch. And if I stand up, maybe you can see it a bit better. If I let the camera focus. There you go. Tim says, what title will Harry and Meghan receive? It's likely to be a dukedom and likely to be Sussex. So the Duke and Duchess of Sussex is the most likely, but not confirmed. Jen says, how am I doing? I'm doing really well, thank you, and I hope you're doing well too. Christine says, will anyone from the British royal family go to Prince Henrik's funeral? Now, I've always wondered whether I've said it right. Is it Henrik or Henrik? I've been saying Henrik, but I'm not entirely sure whether I've said it right in my recent videos. Do let me know if you do know. But yes, it's not confirmed who, but I would imagine there would be a representative, which is likely to be Prince Charles, I would imagine. Bay says, Elliot, tell us about your brooch. Was it your grandmother's? Well, I think I've just said it's a replica of Queen Elizabeth's flower basket brooch. Letitia Williams says, what title will Harry and Meghan's children receive? Well, they will be styled the style and titles of a duke initially. However, once Prince Charles becomes king and Harry is the son of a sovereign, his children will be princes and princesses, very much the same way that Prince Andrew's children are princesses. Oh dear says, I would love a tacky souvenir opening. Will be great for some laughs on the chat. Okay, I think I'm going to have to do a tacky souvenir opening, and we will see what the quality is. We will see if they are worth buying. We'll just have a good laugh, I think. So yeah, I think I will definitely do that. Tim says, I bet they will start a family within 12 months. I think you are probably right on that one, most definitely. Ilma Barr says, my understanding is that the Dukedom of Connaught is available too. I think it is, but I don't think that was likely to be one. I think it's always been Sussex that's been mooted. But again, that is one of the things we will have to wait and see. And we will not know officially until the morning of the wedding. It will be released on the morning of the wedding. I have my cup, my London cup again, which I'm going to be using for tonight's chat to keep me hydrated because of all the talking I do. Here we go, and it's my blend of Earl Grey tea that I save. I only use this one blend of tea for my live chats, and it's very nice. And I first had this particular blend of tea when I was in a hotel in Cardiff in the UK, which is Wales. And it's where they have the big Doctor Who museum, which is now shut. But I stayed in this lovely hotel and I had this blended tea. It was part of their complimentary set and I loved it. And well, I like to only have this tea once a week, so it reminds me of the taste of my holiday. Do you guys do anything like that? Tim says, this is my 4th trip to the UK in June. I am very excited, even though the Elizabeth Tower is covered with scaffolding. It is. But they did promise that at least one face of the clock would be visible at all times. Don't ask me which one it is at the moment, but they do promise one. But once all the work is completed, I think it's 4 years or probably another 3.5 years left. It will be preserved for a very, very long time. For those of you who don't know, the clock tower where Big Ben is, the big tower, is actually slightly listing, it's slightly tilting. And that's obviously happened due to subsidence over the years, especially being close to the river. But they don't think it's in any immediate danger of falling over or anything like that. And it hasn't undergone, to my knowledge, any structural restoration to assist with the list. But the scaffolding that goes up the tower is not fixed to it. It's independently standing, so as not to pull the building down any further. Jen says, I work every day all but Fridays. That's very busy. Betsy says, I ordered a lovely mug from the above. Maybe you could tweet a picture. Do you have Twitter? Tweet me a picture. Vinnie Blair says, the Queen could just grant Prince Harry's kids the Prince and Princess at birth, much the same way she did William's children with letters patent. Yes, she could. That is another option, but as it stands, without that special letters patent, they would be styled style and titles of children of dukes. which I believe is Lord and Lady. Diamond Dene says, I love the Twinings Earl Grey. Is that taste in the blend you drink? I will get the box, so just excuse me for a moment and I will show you. I hope you can still hear me. For those of you who know, I am in my kitchen, so I can quite easily go to my cupboard. Okay, this is the blend that I found in the hotel, and it's the one that I use every week for my live chats. It's Twinings Earl Grey, our classic blend. And it does have a slightly different taste to it, I think. It's actually got, I think it's the bergamot. It's got bergamot in it. So it's tea, bergamot flavouring, 4%, natural lemon flavouring with other natural flavourings. That's quite vague, isn't it? With other natural flavourings. It doesn't actually say what. So it's tea with fragrant flavour of bergamot and lemon, which is lovely. And it says, how do I drink it? Brew for 2 minutes. 3 if you like a stronger cup. Add a splash of milk or simply drink it as it comes. So when I'm doing my live chats, I actually leave the tea bag in because I like it really strong. And for this particular blend, I don't have milk. I do in my regular tea, but in this one, I leave it as it is. So this is the one. Hopefully you can get a good look at that. And I really do like this one. And it's blended and packed in Hampshire in the UK. Tim says, when Charles becomes king, can he choose not to move inside Buckingham Palace? Yes, he can. He can choose another residence should he wish, which is, well, what we think is, although not confirmed, we think that his plan, his grand master plan, may be to stay at Clarence House, which is kind of like a really posh annex onto St. James's Palace. Now, St. James's Palace is still the official seat of the monarchy. It's actually not Buckingham Palace. Buckingham Palace is the official residence, but not the actual seat of the monarchy. So by moving back to St. James's Palace, or Clarence House attached to St. James's Palace, he's kind of actually being more true to the monarchy than staying in Buckingham Palace. Queen Victoria chose to make Buckingham Palace the principal residence. So every monarch since Victoria, it's been Buckingham Palace, but Charles could decide to be even more of a traditionalist and go back to St. James's Palace. So he'd use Clarence House to live in, some of St. James's Palace to do some work in, but he would likely use Buckingham Palace as the official office and entertaining space, and where all the work is done. And he did want to, well, it's said he wanted to close down the Mall to traffic and open it up just to pedestrians and functions and that kind of thing. So it remains to be seen whether that will happen. But yes, to answer your question, he could choose not to live in Buckingham Palace. Loretta Hurd says, do you know why the Queen of Denmark refused to make Prince Henrik a king consort? Was it just to keep with tradition, as the husband of the Queen is called Prince Consort? You can kind of see a similarity to, yeah, okay, I'm going to say it's very similar to the Duke of Edinburgh's situation. Only the Duke of Edinburgh didn't even have the Prince Consort style. So actually, Prince Henrik was quite lucky in that he got Prince Consort. It's basically because the king is still classed as being a higher rank than a queen. So if he was raised to king, that would kind of outrank the queen, whose right it was by birth. And there is no such thing as a king consort, only a prince consort. So Prince Henrik was raised as high as he could. Of course, not in his eyes. He thought that he could be king too. But no, that wasn't agreed upon, and that wasn't what he was going to be elevated to. The Duke of Edinburgh, however, I do feel probably had a right, definitely had a right, I think, at the 25-year Silver Jubilee mark to be made Prince Consort. I think by that point, he'd probably proved himself. And I definitely think, you know, I really do think and feel and believe that Prince Philip should be a prince consort. What do you guys think? Let me know. Okay, I'm just going up because I've missed a few questions. Okay. Oh dear says, I like the Earl Grey, but drink red rose, the equivalent of builder's tea for day-to-day housework or house use rather. How tacky of you. I don't think that's tacky. Oh dear says, twinings or twinings. Earl Grey is very good. I do have that in the cupboard as well. Not sure mine has the bergamot. Well, if you can find it, I would recommend giving it a go. Betsy says the mug hasn't arrived yet. Melody says, I read Meghan and Harry will take a carriage ride after the ceremony. Which one do you predict they'll use? I think it will be just the usual state landau carriage, which is the open top one they sometimes use, I believe, for Ascot. So if you can picture that in your head, that's what I think it will be. Loretta says, have you tried any of the Duchess of York teas? No, I haven't, but I will have to look. Christine for Christmas got Twinings Prince of Wales tea, and you think it's very good. Tim says, so no one would live in the palace when this takes place. Some of the family, maybe some of the extended family, could have apartments within the palace still, but it's likely it would be just turned over for official business use and kind of like a workplace, and to receive guests and foreign dignitaries and hold receptions and host state dinners, that kind of thing. Sandy says, what do you think of the Jan Moore's Daily Mail criticism? All the other royals, I personally don't see a problem with being a human. I don't think I've seen this story, so I can't really comment. What did Jan Moore actually say? I'm really interested. Let me know. Okay, Vinnie Blair says, I think dukedoms vary in prestige. So not any old vacant dukedom will do for a senior royal. It has to be a royal dukedom suitable for a second son of the monarch. Yes, I agree. It most certainly does have to be suitable. Tim says he may not want to move. He could be close to 80 at the time. Yes, that is very, very possible. Jen is glad that she's working on May the 19th. James Medford says, after £300 million spent on Buckingham Palace and Charles not moving in would not go down well. I think the money would have to be spent regardless of whether anyone lived there, even if there was no monarchy. If the British public wanted to maintain it, maintain that heritage and that history, that money would have to be spent, whether it was, non-royal or royal. If it was British heritage doing it or on behalf of the royal family for the nation, that money would have to be spent. So I'm not entirely sure that would kind of stand up. I think the 300 million would have to be spent anyway. Loretta says, do you think Prince Charles will continue traditions like the family having Christmas at Sandringham or vacationing at Balmoral? Yes. Charles absolutely loves Balmoral and Sandringham. So yes, I think he will. Odear says, I think it would be nice if the Mall is closed to traffic. It would be so nice as a walking area. I agree. It's quite a pretty walk along the park up to the palace. Don't know if it is realistic though. Again, it's quite a main thoroughfare through London, so the traffic would have to be rerouted somewhere if it did. Hooked on Jesus says, so will the wedding ceremony be televised? I do believe it will. I think it was. I'm sure I read it was confirmed it would be televised, and they were talking about where they would put the cameras. Well, I think it would be the same positions they had at Edward and Sophie's wedding, and we now know from last week that there definitely was cameras in there, because I remembered it in my head vaguely from the time, and I did look, and it was televised. So I'd imagine in the same kind of positions that it was back in 1999. Jen says houses in London are a lot of money. Yes, they are. Ken says, what would be the difference between being a prince and being a prince consort? Isn't that just a rather small addition to the more important title of being a prince of the United Kingdom? Well, the prince consort bit just denotes that you are the spouse of a monarch. So I suppose it is an elevation between the two. It's only a small difference in words, but it does have some significance, definitely. Prince Harry is a prince of the United Kingdom, but he's not the spouse of a monarch. So if you can see the contrast, there is a difference there. And of course, that meant a lot to Prince Henrique, but Prince Henrique wanted even more. He wanted to be a king consort or even a joint king. He felt that his position was similar to Margrethe's. And Jen says she won't be watching the wedding. Candice says, silly comment, I know, but I've been wondering if Meghan's wedding dress will have sleeves. I think we're all wondering that. It seems that many royal brides do. Anyways, it's something I keep thinking about for some odd reason. I predict it will have sleeves, possibly lace sleeves. But again, that's something that we are going to have to wait and see. Hooked on Jesus says, is Buckingham Palace haunted? I don't think so. I don't think I've heard of any royal ghosts. James Medford says, I agree Prince Philip should be a prince consort. I think he takes pride in being given the Dukedom of Edinburgh by the Queen's father, the King. Yes, I definitely think, it's not even too late now to make him prince consort. He certainly deserves it. Vinnie Blair says, I think Prince Charles will continue the Christmas traditions, but with his own family. So I think some of the old cousins will not be there. That's possibly true. But again, we'll have to wait and see. And of course, as his own family grows, then there is less and less and less space. Nikki Palmer says, hi, I'm new to your channel, but really enjoy listening. Thank you so much. And I'm really glad that you like listening and watching the videos. Marie Alness says, good evening. Prince Henrique decided to call himself Prince Consort in the later years to separate him from the rest of the princes in Denmark. And of course, he gave up the Prince Consort when he stopped doing royal engagements, I read. And Elaine says, Meghan's dress will show half her décolleté. Décolleté? Is that the right way of saying it? Hooked on Jesus says, what about the homeless? Have they come up with anything new there? Well, as we know, both William and Harry are supporters of homeless charities. And in particular, I think Shelter is one of them. There isn't anything official being released to say what they've done, but all of the streets are going to be jam-packed with well-wishers and members of the public lining the streets, and in particular, the processional route. So I don't actually think there would be any room for homeless people to be on the streets. Literally, physically, I don't think there would be space, because people will be queuing and waiting probably a day before just to get a good position. So I don't think there would be any space for them actually along that route in particular. I hope that something is being done, maybe some kind of, even if it's temporary, some kind of temporary housing that that could feed them. And I hope that William and Harry will be involved in that. I'm sure they will. These things aren't necessarily made public. Sometimes work is done behind the scenes, and I think knowing their natures, they would probably be troubled by the news that the homeless would be ill-treated, even though they're ill-treated anyway by being homeless, but in particular being ill-treated because of the wedding. And I don't think that would sit very well with them. So I think there's probably been work done behind the scenes, but we will have to wait and see nearer the time to see what happens. Melody says, didn't Prince Philip want to stay in Clarence's house when Elizabeth became queen? Yes, because he just had it all renovated. So he really didn't want the up move to the palace. The palace was cold and drafty, and certainly not as homely as Clarence's house. Moon Mom says, I drink Twining's Earl Grey tea, but it comes in a yellow box in the US. I wonder if it tastes the same. Yes, we have the yellow box one too, but this particular one is bergamot and lemon. Jen is off. Goodbye, Jen. See you next time. Elaine says, I'm hoping to see them on their wedding day. Odia says, Elliot, is there a way for you to capture some of the televised coverage of the wedding and put it on your channel? Yes, I can just film off the telly, which is what I have done for a few news things. So yeah, any important bits that I like, if I want to rewind, and I might take a little video of my screen so that you can see. Hooked on Jesus thinks the dress would be modest and tasteful. I definitely think more sleek, though. I think it'll be sleek and tasteful. YouTube says, do you think invites would be sent yet for Harry and Meghan's wedding? All secretive, of course. I think, well, this is what I think. I think there will have been a master plan guest list. There will have been some definites. And I think those invitations will have gone out. Then I think there will be the later confirmed, so more of the dignitaries, that kind of thing. Then those will be sent out. Whether they have or not yet, I don't know. Then I think there will be a last-minute wave. So they'll wait to see if they get any cancellations, to see if there's any more spaces left. Then I think they'll try and fill those. So I think the invitations will probably have gone out in the 3 stages. I think stage 1, the definites, will probably already be out. Stage 2 is probably going out or just about gone out. And then the stage 3, they'll wait and see how many responses they get and confirmations to see who they can accommodate later on. So again, you know, one of the guest list, who we're going to see arriving at the wedding, is going to be one of the really fun things to watch on the day. So in a way, I'd rather not know. Trisha D says, do you have any guesses about the next royal baby, boy or girl? Well, we spoke about this before, and I think I said I was kind of hoping it would be a boy, because then it would enact the new rule that a boy cannot supplant an elder sister in the line of succession. So I would like to see that new ruling being tested out by the birth of a boy. As for names, you're suggesting maybe Anne-Marie Louise, or James Frederick Andrew Louis. Wow, that's certainly a name. I don't think it'll... Well, then again, it could be a James, because... But then again, there's already a James. I don't know. The boy's name is probably a little bit harder to predict. Maybe Arthur. I quite like Arthur, actually. Prince Arthur would be good. And as for a girl, I quite like Victoria. Of course, everyone would love Diana, but I don't think that will be a first name. Maybe, okay, my 2 preferred options are Victoria for a girl and Arthur for a boy. Let me know your preferred names. Candice says, Lipton has changed the formula of my beloved white tea, peach mango, and it's terrible. I hate when they change the formulas of things. They did it to my Lipsol, and I hate it. I have ranted on my other channel about Lipsol, and I'm going to do my second part 2 of my Lipsol, my other lip balm that I started. So I will finish the review of that on my other channel. You carry on. I used Last Bag yesterday, and I'm going through withdrawal before going over the edge. Yes, it's really annoying when they change the formula of something that you love and make it worse. That is just ridiculous. Elaine says, there was an amazing ghost caught on security camera at Hampton Court, dressed like a cavalier opening doors. I think you can Google it. I think I've seen it before, but I'm doubtful about whether it's true or not. Vinnie Blair says, open carriage rides demand a fabulous top or blouse, sitting in the carriage waving. That is all we will see. So it cannot be too sparse or she will appear naked on top. That's why I think the lace will come in. In a way, I kind of would like to see a few frills, maybe. Trisha D says, try the peach tea. It's delightful. James Med 4 says, I am in California and will have to get up around 2:30 AM to see the arrivals of the wedding. That is early. Thank goodness I'm in the UK. Odia thinks that Meghan's dress will have sleeves or she will freeze to death, and bare underarms are very unroyal when waving. They are too. I would agree with that. Vinny says, all the princesses ensure there is much on top for the cameras to capture during the ride. Okay, so the consensus is people think that it will be a little bit more elaborate up top, even if it's quite sleek down below. Oh, Elaine, it's not décolleté. I wonder what it was. It's the décolletage or décolleté, meaning the skin above the breast. And when it's wrinkly, when that gets wrinkly, it's called décolletage, I think. My décolletage. And I'm sure there's creams for décolletage. But maybe when it's smooth, it's a décolleté. Maybe that's right. I don't entirely know. Hooked on Jesus thinks it's a girl. Oh, Jamie's in the room because he's been moderating. Hello to you, Jamie. Ilma Barr says, so sad to see Queen Margrethe in the car by herself for the procession to the palace. And I used as one of the thumbnails a really poignant, I believe, picture of Queen Margrethe. She's standing by herself, which is, of course, very, very symbolic in itself. And she's outside and she's facing all the cameras. And it's a very dramatic, expressive photograph, I think. So do go out and check that video. James Medford says, Zara is pregnant too. Then Meghan, many babies coming. You like Arthur too. How about Alfred? I'm not sure about an Alf, not a Prince Alf. I like Frederick, so they have the nickname Freddie. There's already a Frederick, so I don't think it'll be a Freddie. But I'm still liking Arthur. Prince Arthur sounds good. Christine likes Caroline for a girl. Yes, Caroline is good. Hooked on Jesus says, Sir Fred Freckles. Alfie. You can't have a Prince Alfie. Don't think. God, just imagine if it is a Prince Alfie. Hey, I think I finally got down to the bottom of the page. So I'm going to turn to my notes to see if there's anything I've mixed. Oh, of course, the Queen Victoria and Prince Albert tomb or mausoleum is opening to the public at some time this year because it is in need of repair. So that there needs some work doing. They need to raise funds. So for the first time in around about 10 years, it is going to be open to the public. And I did make a video on that. I think I mentioned it in last week's chat, but I did make the video on it. So do go and check that out. I also found out about Queen Victoria's ruby and diamond ring. Do go and check that out. It's a corker. It's one of those Marmite type rings. You either love it or you hate it. It's a diamond with a ruby stone in that forms, in the way it's set, the shape of a heart. And it's kind of got like a black enamel type band around it with 3 diamonds at the top. It's very unique, and it's a love it or hate it ring. So if you've seen the video, let me know if you love it or hate it. If not, please comment on that video what you think about the ring. But it is quite a striking piece. YouTube says Obama's at the wedding, yay or nay? Ivanka Trump in place of a dad. I think the Obamas, yes, because they're personal friends. And possibly Ivanka may go to represent her father. Though that is a likely scenario. Betsy says décolletage is nothing to do with wrinkled skin. I thought it was. Well, I've learned something today, because the reason why I say that is because on UK TV adverts, in between our programs, they advertise décolletage cream, and it's to get rid of wrinkles on your chest. So that's why I thought it meant that. H.A. Bracken says, hope you have a great week off from work. Thank you so much. I really hope I do too. And I hope I manage to get lots done, but also have a rest. Marilyn says, Elliot, you always do such a great job on the live chats and your videos. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate your kind words. Elaine says, thank you, Betsy. I couldn't even spell check it because it was way off. So what does the wrinkled chest mean then? What's the word for that? Christine says, I would love to see Queen Victoria's tomb. And you like the ring. Well, there you go. I would like to see the tomb, and I like the ring too. Francesca B says, have a great weekend. And the same to you too. And I'm going to take this moment, since I've got to the bottom of the chat, to have a drink of my tea. Loretta says, what is your view on the Duchess of York believing she's Queen Victoria? What? What? I have not heard this. Okay, let's rewind. The Duchess of York is believing she is Queen Victoria reincarnated? Seriously? What? Really? Oh my? Where did you hear this? Please let me know where you heard that story, because I have not heard it, and I very much doubt it's true. But let me know, and I will check it out. Marilyn Blythe says, wrinkled chest, just old. AJ Bracken says, older women have wrinkled décolletage. Well, there you go. That's why I thought it meant a wrinkled chest, because you can get décolletage cream. Marilyn Blythe says, wrinkled chest is due to sun damage. Yes, the sun is the biggest cause of skin damage. I mean, not just skin cancer. I mean, let's take away skin cancer, but you know, the aging of skin, the premature aging, is definitely caused by sun damage. Elaine says it's beautiful bone structure, scapular bone going from shoulder to shoulder. Moonful Mom says, do you think Meghan Markle's half siblings will be invited if they behave themselves? I mean, I'd imagine Meghan will want some of her family there. Definitely her mom's going and close family. But as for the half siblings, I think it would probably look bad if they didn't. But on reflection, if they're going to cause trouble and take up too much, you know, media attention and people going after them for quotes and sound bites, then it might be best if they didn't and were maybe invited to just the evening do, or maybe not at all. I don't know. We will have to wait and see. Candice says, I need that décolletage cream. Hooked on Jesus says she should leave at home. Let them wonder why. I'm sure you can find décolletage cream on Amazon. Maybe I should make my own range of décolletage cream with bergamot in. James Med4 says, remember when Onslow would call Richard Dickey and Hyacinth would make such a face? She would indeed. She hated abbreviations of names. Marilyn Blythe says, poor Meghan's half-siblings are a mess. I hope they don't come. And Melody says, I'm looking forward to seeing what car Harry and Meghan will choose to drive away after the wedding. Yeah, well, they might helicopter. They may helicopter. Let's not forget the helicopter out. Lavinia Blair says, I think the royal family in Denmark will be better off. They will miss Henrique, but the country will be peaceful and the family less stressed. Let him rest in peace. On a side point, I didn't really want to mention it, but on the footage and photographs I've seen of Queen Margrethe, she kind of has what I can only describe as a slightly relieved look on her face. Let me know what you think. I'm not going to say any more on it, but I think she is almost a, you know, he's at peace and I'm relieved type look. Go check it out. Check out some of the videos I've posted about Henrique and the family going to see him following the cortege, and just check it out and see, because I think she looks a little bit relieved, in my opinion. Betsy says, I do hope her sister's sliver, or her sister in particular, slivers away. Sandy says they should just stay home. James Med4 says, Meghan as a half-sister in the US press, she's been awful and should not be invited. Eileen Sandu says, bone is the clavicle on the chest. The scapula is on the back of the shoulder blades. We're learning a lot about chests and shoulders tonight. Megan B says, I want to try the Simple moisturizer that I use. Simple is great. I don't know if you can get it in the US. Maybe you can order it from a UK store and just have it shipped over. I don't know. But it is really, really good. I would say the rich one over the light one, although they are both good. Lots of people use light in the summer, rich in the winter, but I prefer to use the rich all year round. That depends upon personal preference. So if you are ordering it online, I would suggest ordering maybe a light one and a rich one, and then see which one you prefer. Candice says, Victoria Alexandra Mary is my favourite full name for a girl. Like you said, a boy's name is a little more difficult. However, you like the name Albert Arthur Philip. Oh, there could be a Prince Albert. Prince Bertie. I quite like that too. Okay, I now have Albert and Arthur as my top faves for boys. Elaine says, I expect during the ceremony they will be called their official names. Yes, I think we will definitely see a Prince Henry marrying a Rachel. Vinnie Blair says, I guarantee Meghan Markle's nieces will be at the wedding, but not the half-siblings, not at all. Also, her niece, the lawyer, will be her maid of honour. Interesting. Oh dear says, St George's Chapel holds 800 seated, but don't forget they could add stands, possibly, if they did need to hold more. Diane Danae says, Queen Margrethe does look content. Yes, you agree. I mean, I'm not saying for one moment that she's happy. I'm just saying she looks relieved and content with it. I'm almost like she's at peace with it, definitely. YouTube says, Samantha Markle is the US equivalent of Daisy and Hounslow. Oh, I hope not. Does she like bacon sarnies too? Melody says, I doubt it. Her half-siblings went to her first wedding. Makes you wonder why they are so keen to attend this one. Well, obviously for the Volavants. Candice says, I agree with you about Queen Margrethe looking relieved. I thought that in one of your videos. Vinnie Blair says, oh, I think the Queen looks more than relieved. She looks happy. Well, I wasn't going to say happy. Not happy he's dead, but like she's a lady who still has a lot to live for. I would agree with that sentiment. Elaine says, clavicle, yes, I blame the chocolate liqueur I had earlier. Loretta says, over 20 years ago, she published a book about Queen Victoria. And while researching, she came to that conclusion. Did she? Well, funnily enough, I haven't read her book. If it's her book, Sarah, that's called Sarah, I haven't read that one. Also, numerous books have stated she felt that way. That's just crazy. That is really crazy to feel that you are Queen Victoria reincarnated and you married one of your descendants. No, that's just wrong. Oh dear says, Albert is a great choice for a boy. And Betsy says, it's a woman's cleavage, everyone. Cleavage, a little bit of cleavage. I wonder if the royal cleavage gets décolleté cream. I'm sure the Queen's décolletage is just perfect. And past the subject of cleavage, which is most unseemly in a royal household, I'm going to talk about the British Women of Colour video that I put out. Now, those of you who were here for last week's chat, I mentioned that I'd seen a video where British women of colour spoke about what they think about Meghan Markle and what she means to them and what her ethnicity means. And I asked you guys whether you'd want to see it or not. And a lot of you, in fact, most of you said you did. So I refound the video and put it on my channel. For those of you who watched it, I did get some really good discussion comments about it. So I hope you liked that video and enjoyed it. And of course, I do listen to what you guys say that you want to see on the channel. And I do try and put that out there. Odia says, Albert is a great choice for a boy. Odia says, no cream, just cover it up. Lots of people laughing. Hooked on Jesus says, less sun the better. Ilma Barth says, Prince Henry had Alzheimer's, so his comments must have been due to that and caused a lot of stress. Having seen friends go through it with family members, it is a relief when they finally pass. Yes, I would agree. However, I still believe they are honouring his wishes that he made when he must have had Alzheimer's or dementia. So I don't think he is going to be buried in the double sarcophagus. However, there is a chance they could try to overturn it. I don't know whether that's been confirmed yet or not. James Medford says, any bets yet with the bookies on the royal baby? Also hoping the York princesses wear simple hats. Oh no, I'm hoping they go way to town like they did with the ugly sisters dresses that they were compared to. And that curly Pringle type hat, or whatever it is, pretzel hat, I think it was known as. Oh no, I love their fashion choices, even when they're disastrous. They make me smile. So I hope they go to town on the wedding. I really do. As for bookies' bets on the royal baby, We really don't know. It's a 50-50 chance, isn't it? YouTube says the best anti-aging cream for the chest and everywhere else is SPF. I would agree. Protect from the sun with broad spectrum UV plus virgin cold pressed organic coconut oil for an overnight weekly treatment. There you go. Spread that on your chest. Vinny Blair says, I must Google this Sarah York nonsense. I must too. I'd never heard of it before. Reincarnated indeed. I would agree. Oh dear says, oh, James Med 4. I hope the York princesses don't wear bizarre hats. Oh, I do. I want them to wear bizarre hats. It makes them look silly. Maybe that's why I like it. I do like a bit of a statement piece with a hat. Betsy says, I want crazy hats from the York sisters. Yes. Hurrah for the crazy hats. I want them. In fact, Beatrice and Eugenie, if you are watching, you must wear crazy hats for all of us here, please. I implore you, please wear the crazy hats. We need a little bit of craziness. Marilyn said, Princess Charlotte's name is Charlotte Elizabeth Diana. Maybe the new baby's name will be Victoria. I hope Victoria. Moon Mom says, have I heard of the new Lifetime movie coming up about Harry and Meghan? I've heard there was something, but I must admit I haven't looked further into it because I don't know how good it will be. I mean, didn't they make one similar for William and Catherine when they got married, and it was kind of terrible to watch? So if they do it, I'm hoping it's good and not done on the cheap. Really, I am. Christine says, maybe the Duchess has early onset dementia. Who? Do you mean Camilla? Which Duchess? Vinny Blair says, yeah, thank you for the video on the women of colour in Britain reacting to Meghan Markle. That was interesting. Well, I did think it was interesting too. And it's good to see a full range of views, especially when people are talking so much about ethnicity. It's good to hear people of different ethnic backgrounds voicing their opinions on it. Tech says, I agree. Bring on the pretzel hats and wacky outfits from the York princesses. That's what we want to see, isn't it? We want to see the fashion, the crazy fashion. And those two sisters can bring it. So bring it. Oh dear says, Christine, if the Duchess has early onset dementia, do you think it started 25? Oh, you mean Sarah? No, I don't think she's got early onset dementia. I think she's just a little bit loopy. But we like her loopiness. I like her loopiness. James Medford says, forget a book called Travels with Victoria after she married Prince Andrew. It was about Queen Victoria's trip to Germany to see relatives. Jamie says, late much? Yeah, you're kind of late. But welcome anyway. Welcome to His Majesty the King, who used to be Queen Elizabeth. Vinny says, do you think Sarah could be getting dementia too? No. Candice says, the hat that Princess Beatrice wore to William and Catherine's wedding looked like a toilet seat. Bring on the toilet seat and the pretzels. Definitely. Marilyn says, I hope Sarah, Duchess of York, comes to the wedding and has a good time. I do too. I think she deserves it. After all the troubles, she seems to want to come back into the fold of the royal family. Loretta says, the goal of the guest should be never to take away attention from the bride, which is why Princess Beatrice should have known better. Believe me, with this particular bride, I don't think anything could take away attention from the bride. Moon Mom says, yes, just love the crazy hats. Tech says, we know the senior royals will always dress perfectly, and we want them to, but the Yorks can give us some whimsy. It's a good balance. I would agree. And you definitely want to see them on Fashion Police. Tech says, what do you think will happen between Philip and Sarah at the wedding? Nothing. I think it will be completely amicable and congenial. Elaine says, I believe Sarah and Andrew divorced to please others. Listening to a couple of her interviews, I can definitely see that. But I definitely think she still sees benefits of being outside the family rather than in. But I think personally, if she was back in, she'd find it a lot easier because she wouldn't have to hustle anymore for money. She'd just have the money and just live a life. And, you know, the trade-off would be probably doing royal engagements. But that's about it. Jamie says, maybe it was because her feet stink. Well, hopefully I don't want to smell her feet, although I'm sure some people do. For those of you into those feet things. YouTube says, do you think Meghan will walk down the aisle in ripped jeans? No, definitely not. Oh dear says, I think Philip and Sarah will just ignore each other. I don't. I think they'll be congenial. But we won't see that bit anyway. That will be, of course, in private. Jamie says, hope she doesn't live in the palace, Betsy. That would turn into a scandal. And we always want to avoid scandals, don't we? No, I love a good scandal. I really do. Okay. We spoke about Harry and Meghan in Edinburgh. This was a good one this week. Prince Charles and Harry attending a function about the year of the reef. Now, obviously, you know, sea and conservation and sea conservation is an interest to Prince Charles. It's, you know, one of his dedicated causes, and is a big interest to Prince Harry, who obviously has been on lots of, you know, overseas trips and seen what damage can happen to coastlines from, you know, plastic in the sea and all that kind of thing, and knows the importance of sea health. So I thought it was really sweet and touching that he wanted to learn more about this cause. So he trusted in his dad, who, you know, invited him along. He went with his father, and he learned from his father about this cause. And I thought that was really, really special. Let me know your thoughts, and do go and watch that video because I think it was really, really good. Ingmarie Alna says, is it confirmed that Prince Harry will be cremated? Prince Henrique will be cremated. So, sorry, normally when people say PH, it means Prince Harry. Prince Henrique will be cremated and half the ashes spread at the Danish Sea and half buried in a private garden. Yes, I do believe that was his wishes, and that his wishes are going to be honoured. Oh dear says, YouTube, lots of laughter. She was such a mess in Canada wearing her toilet cleaning outfit. Jamie says, yes, perhaps Balmoral. And Ruth says, do presidents, prime ministers from outside the Commonwealth usually attend British royal family weddings, or do ambassadors attend? It's whoever is felt is the correct dignitary to send. So it could be the ambassador, or it could be, if they have a monarchy in that country, it could be a member of the monarchy representing that country. So it depends who is the appropriate person to do it for that particular country. Melody says, do you think a large apartment at Kensington Palace is already being prepared for Harry and Meghan? I think it's planned, but not being prepared. We know that there's going to be a huge basement extension at Kensington Palace under the Orangery, which will take all the offices out of Diana's former apartments eventually, and which will free up Diana's apartments 8 and 9 for Harry and Meghan. That's not been announced or confirmed, but I do believe that's the likely reason for the planned Orangery extension, which hasn't even started work yet. So we're probably talking a good 2 to 3 years. So if Harry and Meghan do have children, it's likely that although their London base would be Nottingham Cottage at Kensington Palace, that their main home would probably be whichever country property or second home they have. So depending upon what that is, they would probably spend most of their time there. Oh dear says, oh Elliot, I thought you said the year of the reef. No, the year of the reef, as it's being made legal here in Canada this summer. Good reason for Harry and Meghan to tour Canada. No, I did not mean reefer. Marilyn Blythe says, I think history has proven that Prince Charles was right all along with respect to caring for the environment. Yes, which is another reason why I think Charles the Conscientious will be his unofficial reference in the future for caring for the environment and sustainability. I remember when people thought Prince Charles was wacky, but he's not. He was spot on, absolutely spot on. Carolyn says, I love the tartan coat that Meghan wore. I thought it was special too. Vinny says, Meghan Markle was staying with, was that Prince PP? Who's PP? Prince Philip? for the week of Invictus. He saw her outfit before they left the hotel. Clearly, he thought it was just fine. Who's PP? Have I lost my mind? Oh dear says, I love the tartan coat too. Very nice with slacks. Hooked on Jesus says, how many rooms does Balmoral have? I have no idea, but I imagine it's a lot. Although not a lot of them are bedrooms, because they are pushed for space still when it comes to the summer, when having people over. So I'd imagine not too many bedrooms, although I think the principal guest suite at Balmoral is on the ground floor. I think I read that one somewhere. Jamie says, Meghan's outfit this week was dreadful. Those pants were yuck. Oh, no, I loved it. Oh, no, you're saying you like the tartan coat. Yes, I love the tartan coat. Betsy says, Marilyn, you're so right about Prince Charles with all the conservation. Tex says, hooked on Jesus. Having looked at the floor plans, my guess is about 150 to 200 in the main house. It would be good to tour all of them, wouldn't it? Vinny says, some people are more royal than the royals. They fuss about things the royals have no problem with. That's right. Oh dear says, am I planning a fascinator for the wedding coverage and live chat? You have time this week. Oh, I've already got it planned. I've got my thing planned. I am wearing a new tiara, which came today. In fact, Dawn, who's not here at the moment, ordered one online from Amazon, and she showed me a photo, and I loved it. And it turns out it's a replica, or a near replica, of the Queen Victoria tiara / diadem that was saved for the nation. Do you remember it? I made videos about it. It's the one with the sapphire stones and diamonds. Well, I now have a replica. It came today, and I'm going to be doing an opening. Well, actually, I filmed an opening video of it, which will be coming soon. So do stay tuned for the opening video. I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. I didn't sneeze. I was going to sneeze, and then the sneeze went. There we go. My sneeze vanished. Who else has sneezes that vanish? So anyway, I will be posting the video of me opening this tiara and reacting to it, because it's amazing. And it really does look very lifelike. So I'll be wearing that for the wedding with my Prince Albert brooch, which I think is really, really good. Hey, Helen says, tartan coat was perfect and you like the trousers, but Markle has a while to go with style. She has the, I could totally go camping in Botswana after this hair. I'm sure she'd love to. Jamie says, Elizabeth the contemporary or Elizabeth the modern? I think, no, she's reigned over a great technological and kind of, internet age, hasn't she? So perhaps she needs to be something like, Victoria reigned over the industrial time. This is more the technological. Elizabeth the technical. No, Elizabeth, Cyber Elizabeth. Cyber Elizabeth, there you go. Elizabeth, Cyber Elizabeth. I like it. Vinny Blair says, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry cannot stay in a 2-bed cottage with a baby, even during the work week. They need a room for the baby and a room for the nanny right away. I agree. But whether that is available, one does not know. YouTube says, if Meghan and Harry have trouble conceiving, as she's 36, do you think they'll adopt? No shade, just being realistic. And again, at 36, I conceived my son after only 3 months of trying. I think she's fertile. I reckon. We'll have to wait and see, but I think she'll be fertile. Hooked on Jesus says, didn't like that coat on her. Oh dear says, Helen, yes, Meghan's hair needs some managing. Maybe she's growing it out for a special hairdo for the wedding. Well, in America, I think I'm right in saying, there is a growing trend for natural hair. Now, if she's going to champion certain causes, for example, when she does eventually enter into the royal family, maybe she might have natural hair. That's something maybe people haven't considered. What do you think? Do you think Meghan might go for the American trend of sort of rising movement, I think it's probably known as, of natural hair with no relaxing and no weave or no extensions? Let me know your thoughts. It's an option that I don't think people have thought about. Benny Blair says, PP was a typo. I meant Prince Harry at Invictus. I thought you did. Wilma Barr says, I used to hate how Charles would give an interesting speech about the environment and all the papers and media talked about was what Diana was wearing. Yes, there are sometimes more important things in fashion, but it's good to have a balance. Arnold Sanders says, Catherine is 36. Marilyn is glad that Meghan Markle has been wearing trousers as it's been so cold. And as a Texan, I would need pants, long johns, boots and a wool hat. Helen says, I feel sorry for Charles. He's looking like a defeated man and his environment causes are good. I don't think he looks defeated. I think he's slightly optimistic about the future and also perhaps the sway he might have once he is king. James says, Prince Charles has Burke Hall and it's been renovated, so more space. Oh dear says, love the tiara idea, looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to wearing it. Just going back up. Oh, Dawn is here, who says I'm invisible. Welcome back. And yes, how was dinner? Lady Buckingham says the tiara is amazing. I love it. And I love mine too. I'm going to be doing putting the opening video up within the next few days. Helen Wood says you're allergic to your kitties. No, and there's no Ponzietta this time. I don't think I have a cold. I think it was just a sneeze. Maybe a particle of dust entered my nostrils. Tech says, do I have a tiara prediction for Meghan? Yes. I either think it will be the Strathmore Rose tiara or the Tech Crescent Moon tiara. I did make a video on it. If you check out the one I made about Princess Eugenie's engagement ring, I also talk about the tiara predictions. I show those tiaras. So do go check out that. Do go check out that video. Christine can't wait to see my new tiara. Betsy says, will I be live streaming during the wedding? I hadn't thought about it, but seeing as I live streamed for Eurovision, maybe I could live stream for the wedding. That's an idea. Thank you. Would you like to see me live stream for the wedding? Hooked on Jesus says, her trousers rock without that dreadful too long of a coat. Catherine, Dawn says, he just missed my comment. It's okay. What did I miss? Did I miss a comment? Came back up to see. I think I did. Did I? I don't think I missed. Okay, I don't think I missed a comment. If I did, please retype it. Okay. Vinnie Blair says Meghan just needs her Toronto hairdresser. She clearly needs to find a good one in London. She will probably have her Suits beauty team for the wedding. Maybe. Helen Woods is laughing at Cyber Liz. Cyber Liz. I love it. Moon Mum says, oh, how fabulous. Can't wait to see your new tiara. My mother just got a replica lover's knot. Where did she get the replica lover's knot? I need to know. Send me the link. Jamie says, Elizabeth the Millennia. The Millennia Queen. Oh, I quite like Elizabeth the Millennia. That's quite good. Yeah. Elizabeth the Social. For the social media age. Hooked on Jesus says her hair needs more oomph and volume on top and shade that crack down a little. It's too stark compared to the skin on her face. Okay. Whose hair am I imagining? Am I imagining you talking a bit more Michelle Obama type hair, maybe? James Med4 says the way Meghan glows when she looks at Harry has won me over completely. Plenty of room at Clarence House. Candice says, I think you may have missed some comments. Oh no. Well, I can't go back and find them because I'll be completely lost. If I've missed your comment, please retype them. Sometimes my screen jumps. Elaine says, wonder if the Queen will be the something borrowed on the day tiara. Maybe. I think it could be. Betsy says, no to natural hair. Melody says, I like Elizabeth the Steadfast. That sounds very serious. Helen says, I would love to see her with natural hair, and I disagree with keeping her suits fashion team. She needs a more classy and less trendy tart team. Marilyn Blythe says, Meghan Markle will not have natural hair. She'll have to gradually cut off her processed hair. I have done it, and you go through a period of looking crazy. Thank goodness my friends never told me. Oh no. Hair trouble, hair dramas. I do love a good hair drama. Jamie says, maybe she'll borrow the Queen's panties. No! Oh my goodness, I fell into that trap and I read it out. No, I can't believe I've talked about the Queen's underwear, panties on TV. No! That's ridiculous. Marilyn says, but I absolutely love my curly hair now and would not straighten it ever again. Well, there you go. Maybe Meghan could do that too. The First Mrs. R says, no disrespect meant, but I think that Meghan and Harry will consult with a fertility specialist for a little help if she got pregnant quickly. Well, I think they'll probably try naturally first before seeking any type of help in that department. But I don't know. I've got a feeling there won't be an issue. Jamie says, I think she's a very high chance. Oh, no, there's a very high chance of Philip dying this year. I hope not. Let's hope not. Hooked on Jesus says, will there be forget-me-nots within the bouquet? There's always a sprig of, I think it's that Victorian bush from the palace. So there will definitely be one of those in. But as for forget-me-nots, possibly as a nod to Diana, because they were her favourite flowers. So yes, possibly. That is a good prediction, I think. Angel says, hi Elliot, how's everything with the royals back there? Well, I've been speaking for what? Nearly an hour and a half, although due to the technical troubles, it's probably more like an hour and a quarter. So I've spoke loads about them, so do go and check back later. But all is good in the royal hood. All is good in the royal hood. I like it. Candice says, I do agree Meghan's hair could do with a tidier style. I'm sure in time that will come. Ken says, I was very surprised that the Duchess of Cambridge didn't wear the Cambridge tiara to her wedding, but I understand it has an unhappy connection to Diana. I think that was a very big statement piece tiara for a non-royal bride entering the family. I think what's more likely, if a tiara is worn, of course, for Meghan, she may choose not to, it's going to be more of a starter tiara. And definitely the Strathmore is quite pretty and, you know, kind of startery. And the tech, although, you know, it could be classed as a biggish tiara, but in stature, I think it's, you know, still fairly ornate and quite fancy. So I think those are two that may be the more likely options, and ones that haven't been worn in recent times, and ones that are available. Marilyn says live streaming the wedding would be good, or at least live tweeting. Elaine says yes, live stream please. Candice saying yes, live stream. Betsy saying yes to live stream. Melody says I would love to hear your commentary during the wedding. First Mrs. R says I'm not sure, but Meghan's hair might already be natural or pretty close to it. She might do a blowout, but I don't think it's relaxed, though I could be wrong, of course. Well, I've seen photographs of when she was much younger, from her childhood days, and her hair, her natural hair, is very, very, very curly. So I would say that it's relaxed. Do go and check out those photographs. I mean, I don't know too much about hair, but I imagine that going by those photographs of when she was young, I don't think you could achieve how her hair is now just by a blow dry. But do let me know. I do believe that it's possibly relaxed. But like I say, do let me know what you think. Odia says live stream please. I know I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. to watch it and can replay a live stream. That would be fantastic. Jamie says maybe not streaming, but a group chat so we can all watch and comment on the events. Okay, there's some good ideas. Maybe we should plan something for the event. Christine says live stream would be cool. James Med4 says, is there a tiara that would go with Eugenie's ring? Love the rose gold look of the ring. I don't think there's a tiara that's gold. I may be wrong, but I don't think there is. Okay, I'm going to go on a limb. If Meghan doesn't wear the Strathmore Rose tiara, then that one would look quite nice with the ring. However, it's probably that she's going to wear the York tiara, which is a nice spiky type diamond tiara, which will go with anything. But I do think the Strathmore Rose tiara would go with Eugenie's ring too. So if she's not going to wear the York, although I think she will end up wearing the York tiara, then the Strathmore Rose would be good if Meghan hasn't worn it. So there's a few options. Loretta says, Meghan Markle has a process that straightens the hair, which is why it's never curled. As such, she can't wear her natural hair unless she cuts it off and allows it to grow back naturally, which I don't think she will do. Hooked on Jesus says, her hair doesn't need to be perfectly parted. Angel says, I think everyone needs a day and nice to the royals this week, not being mean and hated. Helen says, I wonder what they will name their baby, Harry and Meghan. She does a lot of yoga, so I bet baby no worries. Yeah, I think I would love to know what they're going to call their child, should they have one. Candice says, yup, you missed a few comments unless I fell asleep for a few minutes. I'll retype mine. Elaine says, just like listening to you when you live stream, book commentary ever. Jamie says, Elizabeth the Busty, too far. Yes, too far, Elizabeth the Busty. My goodness, Betsy Busty. I don't think so. Candice says, from a 2009 article, Beatrice's mother, Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, is obsessed with Victoria and has even said she thinks she might be her in reincarnation. Well, we've just heard about that, and I hadn't heard about that myself, and I haven't read that book that she wrote. In fact, I may even have it somewhere and have not read it. So I will definitely be checking that out so we can talk about it next week. But it's loopy. It's totally crazy. Vinnie Blair says, remember you will be at the wedding. Sounds like you are planning on not getting the press. You owe it to yourself and to us. I will investigate. I promise it. I have a lot more time this week. I mean, obviously, if I did apply for it and I got it, I'd have to go, wouldn't I? That would be too much of an opportunity to pass up on. Helen says, never be another Di for walkabout perfect hair. I agree. Her hair was lovely. I loved Diana's hair. Angel says, hi, Elliot. I'm saying hi to you back from over here in Oregon. Hello to everyone. Hello to you. Helen says, too funny, Fergie as Victoria. Hilarious. I would agree. Mandy, or Mardy as that, says, she's not a royal as yet. She will improve with time. Angel says, hey, what about hairs that are straight? I can't do anything, so for put a spiral perm in the hair and looks like their mother when they get out of bed. Elaine says, I think Philip will get the 100th birthday card from his wife. First, Mrs. R says, sorry I'm late, but has anyone suggested Elizabeth the Great? Oh, I like Elizabeth the Great. Helen says, I love your brooch today. Thank you. It is the Queen Elizabeth flower basket brooch on one of Dawn's lovely box bows. Marilyn says, I looked up a photo of the Strathmore Rose tiara. It's beautiful and not worn in recent times. Marilyn says, Meghan Markle has chemically processed her hair. Leslie, I thought that's what relaxing was, a chemical process. Leslie says, Philip will see 100, so will the Queen, Charles, and also Camilla. First, Mrs. R says, do you think Catherine might get the family order between the new baby and Harry's wedding? Possibly. This is a long-standing thing that we've all been waiting for. I do believe the time is roughly about right, and in particular with 3 children, I think that could possibly push it in her favour. Hooked on Jesus says she's not that black though for it to be relaxed. I would say check out her early photos of when she was a child. Check out her hair, and then for those of you who know a bit more about African American hair, let me know. But I've got a feeling it's been relaxed. Leslie says Camilla not so lucky. Benny Blair says Elliot, tiara has to do with the dress and veil. Diana's had a huge fussy blouse and huge fussy veil. A smaller tiara would have been lost, so Meghan Markle's tiara will depend on the hairstyle. But also, Diana wanted to wear her family tiara too. But it just so happened, I think it went beautifully with her dress. But yes, I mean, you know, Catherine's dress was quite sleek. So the Cartier Halo tiara, being quite small and dainty, was perfect for her dress. Okay. Diamond Danae says, enjoy the week and take care. Good night. Jamie says, Elizabeth the Earnest. Hardy thinks it's blown out. I know because I blow out my curly hair. Christine says Meghan could wear her hair up with a tiara like Princess Margaret. That's possible. Jamie suggesting Elizabeth the Earthly. So I am missing a few comments out because I want to get down to the bottom. Loretta says she stated in a magazine interview years ago she wears a Brazilian straightener like a Japanese thermal treatment. That's why her hair is straight all the time. Isn't that a form of relaxing? I think maybe. Candice says Elizabeth the Great is awesome. Ken says, is the brooch a nod to the royal family order? Yes. Dawn made me a lot of these lovely box bows. And I think they're lovely. I do like to wear them. Oh dear says, have you received the snowflake brooch from Her Royal Highness since she doesn't want to wear it? Well, from Her Majesty. Her Majesty. If I popped a note to tell her for you that you'd like me to borrow it. No, she hasn't worn it. And yes, I totally agree. If she doesn't want it, I know somebody who does. Betsy says, I do the same thing, Brazilian straightener. I would look like a crazy old woman without it. Angel thinks the next baby for Catherine is going to be a girl and she's going to have a very pretty name and it's going to be somebody in the royal family that was famous. I think they're all famous, aren't they? Well, at least well known. At least well known. Au says her earlier photo can just be straightened. She is mixed race. Her hair probably doesn't take well to relaxing. Just blowout would suffice. Well, there you go. Someone in the know. Jamie suggesting Philip the Pivotal. And Donna saying Elizabeth the Everlasting. Oh no, that reminds me too much of Thundercats with Mum-Ra. Mum-Ra the Everlasting. Or whatever it was. No, that's too Mum-Ra-ish. We can't have Her Majesty living in a coffin, in a sarcophagus, coming out at certain points. Was it Mum-Ra the Everlasting? I can't remember now. It reminds me of Mum-Ra anyway. Okay, Candice says, I think I'll write to the Queen and gently remind her that Catherine is missing the family order. Other royal brides received it much earlier, which makes me wonder why she just hasn't received it yet. I'm sure someone waited 7 years. I can't remember who, but I think someone did. Angel says, when is my birthday so I can send you a card? It's August the 4th, so quite a while away yet. But thank you so much for the thought. James Med4 says Elizabeth the Great is definitely deserved. And yes, I agree, Jamie, there is already Alfred the Great. Dawn says, is there anything yet on Diana's statue? Only that the artist was chosen. The situation where it's going to be is chosen. That's in the White Garden, I do believe. But the design, the final design, has not been published yet. Helen thinks Meghan will have a veil or train. I think so too. First Mrs. R says, a lot of biracial women, like my cousin, relax their hair just fine. There are even some white women who straighten their hair. It depends on how curly their hair is and how uncurly they want it. Helen says, electric age Elizabeth. Electric Elizabeth. Electrified Elizabeth. No. Oh, I don't know. Elizabeth the Technological. And yes, I do. I share a birthday with Meghan Markle and the late Queen Mother. I've always enjoyed having a royal birthday. Now, I'm going to finish off in a little bit, but I'm just going to make sure that I haven't missed any important things. Charles and Camilla had a very busy week. Charles was had a full day of engagements in Durham. Do go check out that video. Charles and Camilla were in Yorkshire, and it included a visit for Camilla to the Bronte Museum. So do go and check out that video. There's lots of interesting footage and photographs all mixed together. Prince Harry attended an England rugby coaching match, which was really, really good. And I spoke about my video I'm going to make about the new tiara. Now, I don't have any particular... Oh, I do. I have one engagement down for next week, although I'm sure there's more, which is Monday the 19th, which is the Duchess of Cambridge and Countess of Wessex, so a double engagement for those two, at the Commonwealth Fashion Exchange. So those of you into fashion will really, really enjoy that. Jamie is off too, who says to everyone, have a voluptuous week. And I am going to go now too. So thank you so much for everyone for coming. So sorry for the technical issues which blighted the early part of my chat, which meant I had to come on a little bit later. Hopefully no technical troubles next week. So again, thank you for watching this live chat. Please stay tuned for all the videos that I'm going to post in the upcoming week. I do plan to do my Hyacinth video. So if I do, then please let me, well, please comment on it. That would be really, really good. So if you've enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video or if I do a surprise pop-up video, because it's always good to know or be notified when I just pop up, because as I said, I'm off next week. So I may do a series of pop-up videos whenever. I will just pop up like this. Pop. Or pop. Okay, I like popping. Popping is fun. So yeah, like, subscribe, share on social media, and join me next week for another live chat, Saturday, 10 o'clock GMT. So from me in Shropshire, good night and goodbye.